So I think this episode brings up the trolley problem. And the trolley problem is you're on a train and the train could go in two directions, right? There's multiple people, let's say 5 people on one track, but there's one person on another track. Let's say it's a close family member.
Nah, we gotta make it more desperate. If you go right, you trigger a bomb that blows up an orphanage. If you go to the left, you run over your mother.
Okay, I guess. Let's do the orphanage.
It gotta be a real tough choice.
So what would you do in that situation? Would you save your mother or would you blow up the orphanage? And we kind of know the answer. Barry Allen would agree with us on the answer. The Last of Us Episode 9, season finale, premiered.
Short ass episode, bro.
It was very short.
I was mad.
You know what, too? I think that this was a great episode. It goes into the whole theme of The Last of Us where it's like great pacing and it kind of takes you on a ride. Like it allows you to just go on this ride. And I think it's really good because we kind of already know what's gonna happen because of the video games. And so when they add in those extra elements, it's kind of like, let's slow down because you already know what's gonna happen. Let me give you some of this stuff. I say all that to say, like, I was kind of pissed because I'm like, bro, this is the last episode. I don't want any more flashbacks. That's what I was thinking. And it was cool too because I thought it was a flash forward of Ellie like running through the woods. Instead, it turns out to be Ellie's mother. And when she got bit, I was like, okay, so this is the story of how Ellie got her, whatchamacallit? Superpowers. She's a mutant now. I thought that was clever. I thought that was clever because we also introduced Marlene. And as I was watching that intro, I'm like, in the back of my brain, I'm like, I don't see, I'm there invested, but I'm like, I don't see what's the point of this. I don't see the point in this flashback, especially since it's the final episode of the season. I'm like, bro, let's just get to it. But the episode plays out. And it really picks up once they get flashbanged. I'm like, oh, like behind you, behind some door and shit, like behind you. Bro said, I think that's a savage way to kidnap somebody, bro.
Nah, bro, how you ain't hear that shit the first time it clanked?
So remember his hearing, so check this out, right?
She ain't hear that shit the first time it clanked. That's 4 ears.
That's the thing though.
Ears.
But one thing I liked about it is how like in this episode, it kind of it ties up loose ends without really doing too many flashbacks. Like they kind of talk about it and it's like, oh, that makes sense when you want to look at it, right? So it's established that Joel tried to unalive himself and that's how he got the grazed bullet, right? But I'm like, oh, that makes sense why he lost hearing in one of his ears, because since he tried to unalive himself, you're trying to off yourself at point blank range. You're gonna lose some hearing in one ear if you feel me, if you escape that and you flinched. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't think that's why, he's just old.
I think that him being so close to a gun, you know how loud a gun is?
I think it's constant being that close to a gun.
But yeah, no, I thought those are some really cool details. The flash grenade, that was kind of like, oh, like it's over now. But when he woke up in the hospital, I was like, okay, now we're getting what the video games are trying to do. Now we're in that realm. And I was a little pissed when I saw Marlene. I was a little bit pissed.
Panics thinking she was dead and whatnot.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, how did she get there so fast? I know she has like a team and a crew and all that stuff, but I'm like, yo, they went through some shit to get there. And I know they talked about it, but there was like little small video game Easter eggs in there. Like, I remember seeing the giraffe in the video game. One thing that I thought was cool was before they even got to that spot, the whole ladder thing, where he was like, here, I'll give you a boost, get the ladder and pull me up. I like stuff like that, because it's like a nod. Yeah. So, and we didn't get too much of that stuff, because I remember in an earlier episode, I was like, it'll be cool if...
They did the, I'm gonna lift you through the window, open the door for me.
Yeah, they've done that one. They did that specifically in like the one where they're in Kansas, they did a few of that. But I thought they would do the one where it was like, I can't swim, so she gets on a raft instead and he kind of pushes her and shit. I thought they were gonna do some of that, but they didn't. So we all know we were gonna get a hospital shootout. Or shootout in general. We knew we were gonna get that.
Let me talk. Feel me? Hold on, cuz. Yo, listen, when they was getting down to the hospital shootout, bruh, don't get me wrong. I'm invested in the scene and I love this scene. Me personally, feel me? Being as I'm a man of culture, I would have put Rip and Tear. If you don't know what Rip and Tear is,
that's the wrong game.
All my Doom fans know what it is.
That's the wrong game.
Bro, I would have had going crazy.
So that's what I was gonna mention. That's funny that you say that, because I was gonna say that it's interesting that, okay, so we did an Attack on Titan episode where we say something similar, but it focuses more on the internal of what Joel's going through instead of like the whole
Nah, that's just me.
You get what I'm saying? It's cool to see.
Listen, I get why. I'm not mad at it. Me personally,
I feel you, because that's how the video games go down. It's like, yo, it's a shootout. Like, we're in this for, like, yo, it's like a whole 30 to 45 minute shootout.
Word.
Like, in the video game itself. So I get it, but I thought it was interesting because it was like, oh, okay, they took this direction because he's feeling real pain for Ellie right now. Like, and I get it. So I think this episode brings up the trolley problem. And the trolley problem is you're on a train and the train could go in two directions, right? There's multiple people, let's say 5 people on one track, but there's one person on another track. Let's say it's a close family member.
Nah,
a brother, a mom,
we
or
gotta
whatever.
make it more desperate. If you go right, you trigger a bomb that blows up a orphanage. If you go to the left, you run over your mother.
Okay, I guess. Let's do the orphanage.
It gotta be a real tough choice.
So what would you do in that situation? Would you save your mother or would you blow up the orphanage? And we kind of know the answer. Barry Allen would agree with us on the answer. And that's pretty much what this episode proposes, right? It's, do you save literally everybody, or are you gonna be selfish and keep a daughter for yourself? What are you gonna do? Joel obviously chooses to have a daughter for himself, and it's completely understandable. But in that moment, you're watching, and I'm like, this is not a good guy. Like, Joel is a terrible dude. To the point where they emphasize a scene where one of the guys, he mercy kills, he executes someone. One of the guys puts his gun down, puts his hands up, and Joel just offs him. No emotions, no remorse, no nothing.
I would argue he's smart.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah, but...
Like, he put the gun down, what? I'm gonna run to another room and grab another gun.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not mad at that, but I'm saying it shows the brutality that he's willing to go through.
It shows the smarts, the education on
Nah, because I got something else for you too, right? So I thought it was ironic, and I think that's the reason maybe why we had the close-up of the shot, but the idea was that the cordyceps grow in the brain. And so they were gonna dissect her brain. After the brain is gone, that's it. They're gonna dissect her brain in order for them to find a cure for the planet. When he gets into the room, he doesn't even really talk it out with the surgeon. He just says, bro, unhand her, leave her alone.
Who said no? Nah, the surgeon said no.
He said no.
I ain't letting you take her. Simple as that.
He said no.
He said, I ain't letting you take her.
He had no issues with shooting him straight in the head, the same way that obviously Ellie wasn't gonna get shot in the head. But I think that shot, the symbolism behind it was that the trolley problem. I have no problems with executing an entire building full of people. I would rather save my daughter, right? And I thought that was cool. I thought it was interesting, but it emphasizes that he's not a good person. But we're okay with him doing that. And I think something that it made me realize about this is that if you're gonna do an anti-hero...
Hey, listen, I'm gonna be honest, no right person would give up their daughter to save everybody else. Nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody.
Even if it was the daughter's choice to do it, you would still try to fight that. And I understand it. But I think what this also shows from I'll say from a filmmaking perspective, because these shows, they feel like movies, right? For TV shows like Breaking Bad, Ozark, what else? There's a whole bunch of other stuff like, I think there's something to be said about TV shows where you spend a lot of time with these characters, and so whatever actions they do, it's justified because they're simply going through a series of events. We're watching it as a series of events, as opposed to if it's a movie, that's a drastic thing to just go into a building and shoot it up. As opposed to, okay, cool, we're in a TV show and we spent time with these characters. We could see why they're considered an anti-hero. And we could completely understand them, Walter White, Joel, any of them. And I genuinely thought this was a good episode. I'll give this episode a 10 out of 10. I'll give it that. Ellie's gonna be pissed with him. Ellie is going to be pissed. I haven't played The Last of Us Part 2, so I don't know exactly what's gonna happen. But the fact that he swore to her at the end, and she still feels like something is off.
Yeah.
Yo, Ellie is going to, and Ellie at this point is just a mini Joel. And Joel could get mad. Yo, Ellie is gonna be fucked up. Ellie is gonna be worse than Joel, to be honest with you.
Nah, I wouldn't say worse than Joel.
Yo, she's about to be worse than Joel, bro. She's gonna have trust issues. She gone through the whole...
She already do got trust issues.
It's confirmed that we're going to get a season 2. The creator said we're going to get a season 2, and what we're going to get from this season 2 is one thing that it seems like was missing from the video games is that the relationship between Ellie and Joel after those events weren't really explored as much. So now with this next season coming up, we're going to explore that a lot more.
I'm going to say no.
This is what the creator said.
Oh, I would hope so. Because if they're adapting the second game, then that's just not true at all.
Yeah, this is what Neil Druckmann said. So this is a list of stuff that's pretty much expected for The Last of Us Season 2.
Can't trust Neil Druckmann, bro. He also gave us The Last of Us Part 2.
All right, bro, come on now. All right, so check it out. The Last of Us Season 2. Point 1 will be different than the games. Bullet point 2, Bella Ramsey will return as Ellie. We'll have much more infected, which was something that the show was definitely missing.
You know what? I watched like one of those things where they talk about it, and they said that something that was big in the games was the violence, and they said they wanted to draw away from that because he was saying because in the game it's different, like feel me, constant violence.
Yeah.
But if you do it in the show, they were saying it's gonna get old after a while.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Nah, bro. Should have gave me more zombie beatdowns. You can never get tired of some zombie beatdowns.
I feel it, but also with the episodes where they felt kind of, and I'm not gonna say slow, with the episodes where it felt like it was being filled up with a lot of stuff, you could have had more zombie beatdowns in those. But with the tone that they were going for with this show, it makes sense that they didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of zombie apocalypse movie. I said movie. It's a different type of zombie apocalypse show, so that makes sense. It says it will cover The Last of Us Part 2 story, won't cover the whole second game. Filming could start later this year. New kinds of infected are coming. Will expand upon tendril system with the infected. Could see inclusion of spores. Abby and Ellie changing perspectives. Side character stories like Bill, Frankie, Jackson, etc. So we're getting way more side stories. Release date will be likely around 2024, 2025. A time skip. Joel and Ellie's relationship post season 1 ending, which is what I mentioned. And Ellie's violent path. How do you feel about? Nah, you don't sound interested.
Yo,
you just did the breathe heavy, bro.
Cause you usually just naming things and it was sort of pissing me off. Half that stuff could have gave us in season 1. Like they're saying they're not gonna cover the whole game in season 2. You covered the entire first game in season 1. The second game was shorter, if anything.
I think what it's saying is that it might take a new direction, though.
There was more story to be told in the first one. So you cut stuff out of the first one. You did give us the main stuff, I would say the important things, you feel me? But like, come on now. I feel like they could have stretched season 1. They could have stretched season 1 out more if that was the case. If you're gonna do that with season 2, you could have did it with season 1.
Yeah. Listen, I think in total, I like the Last of Us series. For me, it would probably be somewhere around an 8 out of 10 as a whole, if I'm thinking about all my averages.
I think I might be at like a 9 out of 10.
Which is a pretty good score for the show. I enjoyed the show. I think the show was cool. Yeah, I don't know. I do wish I kind of got to live in this world a little bit longer with them. That would be really cool. And we just didn't get that. And that's okay. We're going to get a season 2, but I didn't play part 2. So I heard a lot of people, your reception to it wasn't good. You didn't like part 2. I don't have any thoughts on part 2, so. What did you guys think about The Last of Us season finale? We thought it was pretty cool, but we would like to hear from you guys. Comment down below what you think, and also give us your season 2 theories on what you think is gonna go down. We appreciate you for watching. If you wanna watch all our Last of Us episodes, we got a playlist that's linked right over here, and we'll see you in the next encounter.
Peace.